Hey guys, welcome to the Knit by Day podcast, episode 20. It has been about a month since I last podcasted, which means I have a ton to talk about. First, for those who do not know who I am, my name is Deja. You can find me on Instagram at Fiber by Day or on Ravelry at Days Jam. My older viewers, those who have been around the block, will notice quite a few new things in the episode right away. So the first is obviously my name on Instagram has changed. It is now Fiber by Day. The reason for that is my brand, my business is kind of undergoing some changes, some really exciting changes and collaborations, and not all of those changes are going to incorporate knitting, but they will all incorporate fiber. And so I just felt like it was time for a little reboot. Things here are not going to change. I'm going to keep the name the same. Most everything is going to be the same because a majority of the content I share here is still going to be knitting. I mean, that is still the main passion here. And I think, you know, all of my finished objects and works in progress today will prove that. Also, another change, we're obviously in a different setting than last time. Normally I film in my craft room. It is currently an absolute disaster because I am in the process of packing things up, which means we are officially moving back to Wilmington, North Carolina next month. I have been waiting to officially say so online until I put in my notice at work, Christian accepted his job offer, and everything was set in stone. But finally going back home. It has been almost a year spent in Kansas, a little less than a year. For those who don't know, my husband had an internship to finish up his clinical psych PhD. It was a year-long internship, happened to place him smack dab in the middle of Kansas, and we are originally from Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where our family is, that's where the beach is, and so we are really excited to be returning home. Kansas has been an adventure, but it's time to go. So yeah, moving back, that's a big thing. My hope is that with the way the filming schedule has gone, that there will not be much of a... Okay, sorry. Sometimes Kansas wind gets a little gusty, pushes something over or open, like my back door, and the dogs think is an intruder every time. A year has taught them nothing. But as I was saying, with the way the filming schedule has been going, the once a month thing has worked out great. I don't foresee there being any hiccup in just our regularly posted podcast. So that's the good news. And yeah, I think I'm ready for some knitting stuff, but actually first, I ordered some stickers that I am way too excited about. If you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen these, but I'm gonna show them off here as well because I am just, again, so excited. I'm filming backwards today, so I'm really hoping everything I show off comes out well, but you'll see the stickers if you see. The stickers are holographic. They say, "Show me your knits." I think they're hilarious and super cute. So those are actually for sale for like $3 a piece on my website, which is now Fiber by Day instead of Knit by Day. So it is fiberbyday.com. You can find them there. And they're the only thing on the website right now. I expect to have a shop update with hand-dyed yarn for the very first time August 15th, so I am way excited about that, and I'll give you some more information probably next month around July 1st. Now I'm ready for the knitting stuff. So like I mentioned, lots of new things this month. Gotta decide what I want to talk about first. I have a couple of finished objects, so let's go ahead and start there. As I was starting to kind of pack up the craft room, I noticed that I had a ton of languishing WIPs, and I mean a ton. And they're are things that have been on my needles so long that I forgot they were ever on my needles, this being one of them. So this is the Ripple Crop Top by Jessie May. This, I think, is the third one I have knit for myself, and I've knit probably two for gifts to other people. If I remember correctly, the yarn is Long Dog yarn in her DK weight, and it is in the colorway Rum Runner, which I do not think she sells anymore, so you may have some difficulty finding it should you want it. Actually, yes, she does not make it anymore, and I remember it because I ran out of yarn, which seems to be a theme for me, and the only thing I could find was fingering weight yarn. So this is knit in DK. All I could find was the fingering weight, and so this sleeve is actually entirely fingering weight held double, and even in person, I don't really see much of a difference. So I'm really, really pleased with how that came out. Like I said, Ripple Crop Top by Jessie May. Love all of her designs. She is one of the few designers that I have knit multiple of the same pattern. This is her worsted version of this. However, I know that she does have a fingering weight version, and so you're welcome to knit either, which is nice. I did not even realize this, but my next finished object is also a Jessie May design. This is her very V-neck raglan, and it is probably top 3 knits. My favorite. Okay, I did not word that correctly. It is one of my top 3 favorite knits so far. I haven't even had a chance to wear it. I wanted to wear it for this episode, but it has not been blocked yet. So patiently waiting for my chance to wear this. I love the V-neck. I love this color. This yarn is a Homespun House in her Poppy colorway, and I've already raved enough about a Homespun House. Very, very soft yarn. Wonderful, glorious dyer. Love her as a person as well. And so, I have a lot of her objects. The one modification I did on this is the sleeves. I knew that I did not have very much yarn, so the sleeves on Jessie May's V-neck kind of puff, I don't even know what you would call them, but they flow out. I don't know how to describe it. Take a look at her image of it, but they are not these sleeves. I ran out of yarn, or came very, very close to it, around 3/4, so they come just a little bit past my elbow, and I just bound off from there. I did not do any decreases for the sleeves, just bound straight off, and I love the look of this. I love the look of the sleeves, to the point that I might do several more just like this. It's hard to show you exactly what's happening without it being on, but my hope is that by next podcast, I'll be able to wear this for you. So yeah, again, all of Jessie May's designs that I've done, I've wanted to knit multiple of. I would love this in a royal blue color. I think it would be fantastic. Funny that they're both orange. I would not expect orange to be my color, but I've been loving it, so I'm gonna keep it up, I think. Okay, kind of looking around trying to figure out what I'm doing next. The next two, please hold, I have a stitch that is just hanging out unattached, so I need to go back and fix that. The next thing I have, again, is a half finished object. This is the Bits and Bobs sock by Knitty Nellie, and if you were up on Instagram and you follow her, the last couple of weeks they've been doing a knit along with all of her sock patterns, so I did join that with these socks. I really like these. They're very, very scrappy. This is my first time doing a, what do you call it? the heel, an afterthought heel, and it was very scary, but I did accomplish the task. I messed up a little bit on this heel where it's gonna kind of have a little bit of a hole in it, but this happens, I think, a lot with socks, and so usually I just graft it and it's no big deal. The other issue I had with these socks is I thought this yarn was gonna felt really well, so I knit it longer than the pattern called for. So you'll see my second sock is, oh, that's backwards, hold on. My second sock is much, much longer. I knit it longer thinking I was gonna felt it. It did not felt very well, and so with this one, I went ahead and just cut my toe out, ripped back, and knit the toe again, and it's come out just fine. So I just need to do the same thing for this really, really long, wonky looking guy. Cut out probably right there and start the toe. This one has not been blocked, so that's why you can see like all the tension issues. It blocked straight out, but yeah. I think these were also my first colorwork socks, so just newness all around, and I really enjoyed learning the afterthought heel, and I would say learning colorwork for socks, but it's not much different than colorwork for a sweater, so I wouldn't say there was much learning involved, except I did have to use a 9-inch circular. Magic Loop just does not accommodate for colorwork at all. Other half object is obviously another sock. This is, again, I knit my hair into everything. Does anybody else do that? Between my hair and the dog hair, I swear everything I knit is just extra fuzzy. But this is another one of those projects that has been on my needles for so long, I did not even know it was on my needles. This is a basic ribbed sock. I don't even think I used a pattern. I just kind of went with what I know about socks. So 2x2 rib. I think it's 48 stitches because that is what I do for all my socks, 48 stitches. And I know that I knit them on a US size 3. This yarn is Hobby Lobby. Don't come at me with the Hobby Lobby thing. I live in Kansas. It's not an excuse, but it is an excuse because there is nothing else here. So I shop at the Hobby Lobby now for yarn. Sometimes. And I'm gonna stop when I get back home, I promise. But this is Hobby Lobby yarn, and it is in their like hand-dyed collection. And this is meant to be, I think, a fingering weight, but it's more DK. I'm in general not impressed with their hand-dyed yarn, just because you can tell it's budget yarn. I have no issue at all with budget yarn. In fact, I love when I can save a penny or two because my husband gets less mad, but I don't like when you can tell that it's budget yarn, and so the quality just isn't there for me. I think you guys are about to see Wes for the first time ever. Hey Wes, you wanna lay down? This is Weston. This is my pride and joy. He is a 4-year-old mix. I have no idea what he is, except I think he's a whippet mix of some sort. I've had other people agree with me. I've also had people tell me there's no way, so I don't know. Anyway. Budget yarn, hand-dyed. I do like the way these socks came out, and so I will knit a second now that I know it exists. But yeah, you can't finish projects when you forget they exist, and apparently I've done that a lot the last couple of weeks. So another, like, I'm gonna call it half-finished object. It's a sweater without sleeves. So this is one of my test knits that I did this summer, and it has kind of gone on hold simply because the designer has pushed the deadline back to July, and so I'm not really in a hurry to finish it, though I guess I would like to go ahead and get it off my needle since all it needs is sleeves. But this is the Magnolia Bloom. It is a really pretty DK weight sweater with lace details that look like little flowers. I don't know if you can see. I am knitting mine held double with some of my fingering hand dyed yarn and then also a mohair. And I don't have the label and I cannot remember what the exact mohair is, but I will definitely put it in the show notes. And I did talk about it on the last episode of the podcast as well. It has a nice sheen to it. I love the way these two are coming out held together. It's very like oatmeal, almost like ballerina pink. Not quite that pink, but really pretty all the same. Again, I just need sleeves. This is definitely going to be an oversized sweater, but it's less oversized than it looks for some reason. When I started knitting it, I thought, oh dear, this is very large. But I put it on and it really is not. It's maybe 1-2 sizes larger, and that's, if I'm gonna knit an oversized sweater, that's about where I want it to be. So I do like the fit of this. I think it'll be really nice. Though now that we're moving back to Wilmington, I have all these wonderful sweaters and I don't know that I'll ever get to wear them again because most winter days are like 50, 60. So definitely not Kansas weather. This is one, this WIP is a project that has been on my needles for a really long time, but it is not one I have forgotten about. It is one that I have purposely put away for a little while. I guess it's not that I didn't want to work on it or didn't plan to work on it. I knew where it was and I left it there. This is my Habitation throw, which I think is by Helen Stewart. That's what we're gonna say. If a different thing pops up on the screen, trust what I wrote on the screen. That's probably the correct designer, but it's definitely called the Habitation throw. And it is a throw that is knit corner to corner with just a bunch of little eyelets. So I am currently on the decreases for this. I'm trying to show you all the colors I have in here. And people who have been around for a while know that I have been knitting on this for years and years. Oh, I'm losing stitches. The yarn that I'm using are actually a Homespun House. So Molly has a Patreon where essentially you pay for little blogs and videos of her life and her family, and it seems weird to pay for blogs, but I promise it's worth it. They're so cute and fun to watch. It's like I don't know, reality TV almost. Not as trashy, though I do love a good trash show. But I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, but when you subscribe to her Patreon, you not only get access to all her vlogs, but she used to send you 3 mini skeins per month. Now I think it's changed where maybe she sends you a 100-gram skein if you pay a certain amount, and maybe if you pay another amount, she sends you 3 minis. But anyway, the tiers have changed. I have not kept up with it simply because it got a little bit too expensive for me. Our budget changed drastically when we moved to Kansas because a cross-country move costs a lot. We got a second dog. We are trying to save up for a house to buy in Wilmington, and so I just can't afford it. But it is worth it if you're at all interested in monthly yarn and getting to see a little sneak peek on Molly's life. So I have these remaining for my Patreon minis. And I might have a few others kind of hanging out, sneaking around, but I think what I'm gonna do to remedy the fact that I'm gonna run out of minis is just order one of her mini sets. and finish it up. Like I said, I'm on the decreases. I would guess I need 20 more colors, and each mini set she has is probably about, I think you can get up to 10 minis. So maybe just 2 quick sets and I would be good. Which is cool because Molly actually has started, her mini skein sets are one of a kind. Like she just plays around in the dye pot, comes up with what she wants, and then that's the mini set. And I think they're kind of limited time, so whenever she's done dyeing that set, she's just done dyeing it, which is, I think, kind of cool because it adds to the uniqueness of the project. This ooh, this is another one that I didn't forget about. I knew it was on my needles, but I was just not feeling it. This is a this is the Little Black Cardigan by a designer whose name I do not know, but I will put it in the show notes. And it's been on my needles for years. I have knit this much, which is really not much. And then I got to the point where it was time to start making sleeves, and it got really, really complicated to the point that I don't remember. I just don't remember where I was. I don't even think like I really knew or understood what I was doing while I was doing it. And so I'm just gonna have to rip back a good bit and go from there. It is knit out of Malagrigo's lace weights in Frank Ochre. I feel like I always say that wrong, but that's what it looks like. Frank Ochre. Lace weights, and it is held double. I really like this yarn. I like Malagrigo regardless, but this is their lace weights, and it is 100% baby merino wool, which is really, really soft. So do enjoy this yarn. Do enjoy, I think I will enjoy the project's end result, but it's definitely going to be a product, not a process type of knit. So I just have to kind of force myself to do it. Yeah. Because I have so many of these WIPs on my needles, I'm gonna just try to refrain from casting on for a little while. I try not to put too many rules and restrictions on my knitting because it is something I just enjoy, but I know that I do really want these knits, and if I keep casting on, I'm never gonna get to them. And so I think I have enough to kind of sustain my need for different projects for a while. The one exception I will make is I will cast on a new pair of socks or a new beanie or something that is good for traveling, because I am always taking my knitting places and I need something that is going to be small and doesn't require a lot of focus that I can just grab and take with me wherever I'm going. But yeah, in terms of casting on big old sweaters, I'm gonna just take a pause. Let's think about what's next for you guys. I will show this project here. I'll show this for anyone who did not watch the last podcast. However, nothing has changed. I don't think I've put in any work at all. Because I was waiting on a bigger cord for this, because I'm at the point where it's too big for this cord. So I did get another cord in the mail yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and transfer it to the new cable and probably put in a few section repeats today. But this is a shawl, a kite shawl that I am designing with my hand-dyed yarn. And none of these colors have names yet. Oh, except for the red. The red is Princess Avenue. But the rest, yeah, are pretty nameless. So if you have good names, send them my way. Simple kite shawl. It's got slipped stitches down the center. It has some purposefully, like you can purposely see my color changes there. And yeah, I really like these colors together. I want a sweater in these colors, but I'm not casting on sweaters, so it's not happening. Let me finish this up first, at the very least. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I talked about it in a little more depth last episode if you were super interested and did not see it. But that's that. I'm gonna get all this yarn out of my way. Another thing that I talked about in great length last episode was my Emma top. And if you've watched the last 2 episodes, you know the absolute nightmare I have had with this skein of cotton DK yarn from Baracco. I explained it in a couple of episodes ago, but I just grabbed it one day when I was at the yarn shop. I don't know why I grabbed it. I don't like cotton, but I thought maybe I would knit a tank or something with it, so I bought it. Started another top, ran out of yarn, didn't really love the project, frogged it. Used that yarn. See, I don't even know how this happened anymore. I ordered more yarn. I had more yarn. It came out a different weight somehow, even though it said it was the same weight. So I frogged that project, made dishcloths with the lighter weight yarn. And now I have this skein that I ordered to finish the top that I never finished. And I started an Emma tank thinking I would have enough yarn, which I probably did have enough yarn, but I just was not enjoying the project. So I ripped it out today, and now I have a skein of cotton that I don't know what to do with yet again. And I think I'm gonna do like a market bag or something. I don't know. I hate to get rid of it because I hate to curse another knitter with it, honestly. So I'll figure something out, but for now it is just a cake of yarn. I was done with that project. I was not enjoying it. It would have ended up like these other WIPs you see here, just languishing in a closet somewhere. So not gonna do that. Okay. The other thing, this one has gotten a lot of work. So this is what I am calling my Flint shawl. It is another pattern by me, and it is another pattern that I am knitting in a Homespun House. This is a Homespun House's Huggable mini set. It is 4 50-gram minis. It is super soft. It is super pretty. And the Flint shawl is just a asymmetrical shawl that has some fading and some brioche, if you can see the brioche sections. And it is really, really pretty. I am at the point now where I am almost ready to finish this up, but I decided I wanted one more color in there, and Molly had the perfect color on her website. So I did order one more skein from a Homespun House, so it will be a 5-color fade when it is all said and done. And I am expecting to be able to send this to a tech editor by the end of the month. So really, really excited. Those who have been around will know that I've also been working on this one for a while. I had knit a version that was okay, that I kind of liked, but I didn't love the shape of it. So re-knitting it at this point, I think we have one we're gonna stick with. So really, really excited to get that finished, get it sent to a tech editor, get it out to test knitters, get it out to you. I think it will be fantastic. I think I'm gonna talk about crochet for just a second. I have 2 projects, one you know about, one you do not know about, that are crochet. So let me show you real quick. I only crochet blankets because I am not very good at crochet and I am just trying to learn. and blankets are good for that. So this is just a regular old blanket, single crochet all the way down, and it is just a cake that's already got the color changes in it. This is another Hobby Lobby yarn, and it's like a Sugarwheel, and I think the colorway is Mahogany. So yeah, I'm just crocheting this back and forth when I sit on the couch. Sometimes, the last couple of times I flew, I took it on the plane with me, but I think at this point it's a little big. It's about half the size I want it to be, which is a large throw. So yeah, probably done traveling with this, but it is really nice to have when I am sitting on the couch watching some TV with Christian or something of the like. What was I gonna say about that? It's out of my head. I don't know. Oh, I was just gonna say that knitting and crocheting blankets is really nice because at some point you get to where it's large enough to just use it as a blanket as you're working on it, and that's the best part because I am constantly cold. Always. Doesn't matter where we are, I am cold. So having a built-in blanket is really nice. My other crochet project is my temperature blanket, which we are almost halfway through the year at this point, so this blanket is almost halfway done. For those who do not know what a temperature blanket is, because I've gotten quite a few people who have never heard of a temperature blanket, this is a blanket where every day for a year you crochet a color that corresponds to the average temperature for the day. And actually, most people do the average. I do the high of the day. So each color on this blanket corresponds to a number range, and if that day falls between that number range, I knit that color. I made up my own code. I don't know what you would call it. My dog's licking himself. Hey, you're on camera. I came up with my own color code chart, and you could come up with your own. There are also plenty of ideas online, but I will go ahead and show this to you. So this is the temperature blanket. The bottom with all the blues and greens and cool colors are obviously cooler colors. And then you come up, we're getting into the summer months. That hot pink is a range that's like one of the second to highest range. It is, I think it's like 89 to 99 or something like that for mine. So quite a few of those hot pink days, and I'm really excited about it because that hot pink is, I think, my favorite color on the blanket. The only color that is higher is going to be this bright red, and that I think is just going to be over 100, which surprisingly you will get in Kansas, but you will not get in Wilmington. So hopefully we get an over 100 day here before we leave. Otherwise it's just not getting into or crocheted into the blanket. But I mean, that's kind of okay with me. I don't love the red, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is it for all of my millions of ongoing projects. I wanted to pull all of them out so that you guys could hold me accountable for actually getting some of these off my needles. If there's one in the closet somewhere that I, again, just had no idea about, then I will show it on the next episode. But I think I have pretty much cleared out all the spaces where I keep knitting projects. So we should be done. Hopefully we're done. And I will just keep you updated on my progress with those. The last thing I'm going to talk about, I'm so sad. I went back and I couldn't find an episode where I even talked about this sweater, which feels impossible, because it was my favorite sweater. This was another Jessie May. This was the Diaphanous Raglan, I think that's what it's called, and it is a Raglan sweater that this body part is knit with fingering weight in either suri or mohair, whichever you prefer, and then the sleeves are just suri or mohair, whichever you prefer. So it provided like these really gorgeous sheer sleeves. It was super puffy and wonderful, and I keep saying was because, as you can tell, it is pretty matted and not that anymore. I keep, like, the way I talk about it, it seems like I'm constantly placing the blame on him. It is very much my fault, but my husband was doing laundry. Somehow this had ended up in my laundry basket, and so he threw it in the wash, not really thinking about it, and it ended up washed. I have gotten a lot of really helpful tips about like soaking it in conditioner and reblocking it, and I tried that, and I think that would work really, really well on any other merino or wool sweater. I think it did not work very well on this because it is suri alpaca, and suri alpaca just doesn't want to be messed with, obviously. So I'm just gonna have to throw this one away, which I feel very heartbroken about. Again, this was one of my favorite knits, but I can't fix it at this point, so off to the trash it goes. The bright side of this is I get to knit another one. And again, Jessie always produces patterns that I want to knit again, so it's not the end of the world. I have already started like thinking up colorways in my head. I have suri in my mouth. Okay, I have already started dreaming of colorways that I plan to produce because I would like to introduce suri to the shop this fall, and so in order to do that I have to dye and I have to knit some samples. So I'm working on getting some suri shipped so that I can start dyeing. I really want this in like a lilac color, and I also want it in a royal blue because I seem to want everything in a royal blue, but I think I'm gonna go with the lilac because this was a pretty soft color and I need something to replace it in my wardrobe now that it is dead. So that's it. That's the end. Any changes that are happening will be shown on Instagram. Like I said, much isn't really changing here, but I am planning on launching an actual hand-dyed yarn business, which I'm really excited about. So be sure to follow me over on Fiber by Day. Subscribe here if you have not and you enjoy the videos. It does help me out a lot. And also you can go to the website Fiber by Day and subscribe for my newsletter if you are interested either in more stickers. I'm eventually gonna get shirts that say show me your knits, and if you're interested in the hand-dyed yarn. Like I said, I plan to have the very first shop update on August 15th, and I'm very excited to announce that this will be a collection. And considering August is when we will officially be settled back in Wilmington, it is going to be a Wilmington-based collection. So very beachy colors, very bold and bright, and I think you're really gonna enjoy it. So go ahead to the website if you want more information on that, or follow me on Instagram, subscribe to this, all the different ways to stay up to date with me. Other than that, I will see you next month. Until then, happy knitting.